Thank you for showing up, Rachel.
Thank you for having me, both of you.
Thank you for being here. Showing up is about uncovering what it takes to get to where you want to go by learning across design, business, tech, and the arts. So welcome to the capsule, Punching Above Your Weight.
Wow.
So Rachel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, the co-founder of Love Bonito, and I am huge fans of Yah-Leng and Arthur.
We all believe that we are a certain kind of person, but we never know until we do something that proves otherwise, or until we die.
Wow. You're starting me off with something so deep. There is this quote that I heard a long time ago. It says, do not die with the music still inside of you. And I think I've always held onto that quote because I've always also want to try my best to, live to my fullest potential. I don't want to, at the end of my life, die with still, perhaps the gifts or talents still inside of me is being unutilized, the impact that I could have made to the people around me not being fulfilled. Building Love Bonito, it's been such a personal journey where I have had to confront the best and worst of myself. I think what has been key in my journey and growth has been that to always take time out to reflect, to sit down and to just pay attention to myself, how I'm feeling, to be in tune with whatever that's going on inside my heart, emotionally, inside my mind, mentally, to just be very honest with myself. If I was upset over something, to just be brutally honest with myself, is it because it hurt my ego or is there another reason and things like that. So really learning about myself along the way and also discovering, if this is the version of myself that I like or do not like. And then, adjust from there. And I think through the journey, I've also learned, that there are certain things that surprise me about myself. Yeah, and maybe I never knew that I could have so much grit or have so much emotional resilience until I went through, setbacks and failures that really showed me that, hey, actually, if as long as I work on my mental muscle, I can overcome it. I would not have known certain parts of myself, the good and the bad, unless I had encountered it. And I think beyond that, I wouldn't have known about it unless I had really taken the time to reflect and ponder about it and to do something about it, right? Yeah. I also really believe in this quote which says, we don't learn from experiences, we learn from reflected experiences. And that's something that's been key. Yeah.
Wow. We gave her one quote and
I want to pick you up on the music, right?
Yeah.
So, what music is playing in you right now?
Why so deep this interview? I'm only on the first quote,
So what I mean is,
Yeah.
is it like, do you feel that you're rocking it or you're feeling like, I don't know, heartbroken, emo mode? Are you in the
ballad?
Are you like in a rock, like slow rock, like you're feeling it but it's not quite there?
Great question, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always something I think about, like whether I'm grooving with music or I'm just being drowned by music or I'm feeling like I'm underwhelmed or overwhelmed by it. And I think for me also, and I guess both of you can relate, in this new season of my life where I have a new role as a mom, I am learning and trying to juggle and manage. While I'm really struggling, I'm really trying to do my best to fulfill my roles and really trying to also understand in this season which are the, as I juggle, which are the glass balls I can't afford to drop or which are the rubber balls I can afford to drop temporarily. Yeah.
And I wanted to follow up. You brought this up in one of the interviews before, this rubber balls and the glass ball. It was the first thing I picked up.
Yeah.
And you used the word ruthlessly productive.
Yeah. I've also learned, ever since I've had Ollie, that I only have a certain amount of hours in a day, right? And the last few hours of my day and the first few hours of my day are dedicated to Ollie. So I think with the amount of time that I have left in a day, whether it's 8 hours, 7 hours, I want to make sure that I am as effective and as efficient as possible because, previously I may have the mindset that, oh, it's okay, I can continue after dinner or I can do it after work. But now I can't because I have to, devote my time to Ollie. So for me, I'm also learning how can I really be laser focused and really only do things that matter in the grand scheme of things. And was just actually reading this article by Warren Buffett yesterday, and he said, list down your 25 priorities and then circle your top 5. And he said, these are the top 5 you need to focus. And then the interviewer asked, oh, what about the other 20? Is it that, if I have the time, I will do it? Or it can just take a back seat? How do I do with the rest of the 20? And he said, these 20 is what you should not even spend any amount of time or energy on. Yeah, and that to me is shocking because, wow, actually maybe through my life I have been unproductive in, spending time scattered everywhere. So yeah, I think ruthlessly
I think you just described me.
No, me too, we're all like that, right?
So there's a quote that says, do not confuse movement with progress.
Wow. It's like busyness, it doesn't equate to
Yes.
productivity.
Yeah.
Effectiveness.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yesterday I made it a point to get out from work earlier, 3:30. So I brought Ray out, little girl.
Yeah.
And then she got this gigantic chocolate cake, and I have my gigantic pint of beer.
Yeah.
And that was the best 2 hours I spent with her.
Yeah, I think for us it's quite similar. Yeah, I mean the time that we have at work is tremendously reduced, but then we have to make up for it, right?
Yeah.
So I think.
And do you feel any less fulfilled?
I think I changed the way I work currently, and especially now with the work from home.
Yeah.
So our team members will come in once a week.
Yeah.
So for example, yesterday was where we reunite for the week, and the whole day we were just brainstorming and talking shit. Sorry, but that was the most productive and effective way to get ideas and resolve ideas. So I think that was a great way to work actually, even though it's just one day of the week.
That's actually a good way to do it because most of the time people are afraid of meetings, right?
Yeah.
But if you force it to that,
the,
right?
Yeah.
If you lock it down to that one day, you got to do your meeting all in that one day.
Yeah.
And then you're left with the other 4 days to do your work.
Yeah.
Uninterrupted, technically, right?
And to your point, we never knew that this was possible
Yeah.
until you had Ray, I had Ollie,
Oh, yeah.
and then working from home.
Beginning was tough.
So back to your quote, right? That
Yeah.
I really do think that there are certain things that we wouldn't have known until it happens.
So are you ready for the second quote?
Ah.
She's
These
gonna
are
throw back
like
10
barriers that you
you
have to jump
know.
over.
She's
Okay.
gonna throw back 10 quotes.
Okay, yeah.
No. Okay.
Okay,
I'm ready.
the second quote for you to respond to is, promise yourself that no matter how hard it gets, you won't give up.
I think that one of the most important decisions in life is to know when to persist and to know when to give up. And I think this is such a personal decision at the end of the day. So many times people ask, and I'm sure you get this also, right, in different forms. So many times people ask, oh, I started a business or I started a career, I started something. Do you think I should give up now? Do you think I should do something else? Do you think I should pursue something else? And to be honest, there is no right or wrong. And it's very hard for someone on the outside to advise because I think all our journeys are so personal to ourselves. Only we know, what we truly are passionate about, what our heart beats for, and only we have the full picture. It's just whether or not we want to take the time to pay attention to all of that and piece all of that together. So that to me, actually, I might not necessarily agree. I think one of the biggest decisions in life is to know when to give up and when to stick to it.
Is there an example of a turning point that you say, okay, this is it, I'm done, I'm turning?
Relationships, we try our best to a certain extent, and if it's really not serving you and it's really not working out, I think to a certain extent we really need to know, as painful as it is, when to let go and move on. Business decisions, definitely also. You want to believe as much as you can about a certain category or market to enter, and you try as much and you bleed as much. And sometimes I will always think, right, what if I had, persist for 1 month and I break even? Or what if, it's just maybe 2 more days? There is also this quote that says, sometimes you're just at the corner of your breakthrough. So that's why to me, at the end of the day, it's, paying attention to everything that's going on inside, mentally, emotionally, and then I think have the courage to make that decision. And I think beyond that, after making that decision, have the humility to also, understand. And if in the event you really made a mistake, it's okay. We'll U-turn, we'll pivot, we'll go again. Don't be afraid of, having to pick ourselves up and go again or remake that decision again, if anything. Yeah, I think life is about learning, unlearning, and more importantly, having the courage to admit to that sometimes.
So the next quote would be, don't be afraid of being a beginner. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I really resonate with this quote. Also because I think when I first started Love Bonito, before that was Bonito Chico on a live journal platform, and back then, online shopping was unheard of. This was pre-Instagram, pre-iPhone days, you know. People were still transferring money manually via ATM, then scan the receipts. You know, when I came out to co-start the business, I had no fashion, no business, no design background, yet really had that burning desire to serve the everyday woman. And since then, you know, my journey has always been about a lot of self-learning, a lot of self-discovery, really, you know, being a beginner in every aspect of it, right? Whether it's leadership, you know, how to start a business, how to run a business, and then even within the business, accounting, balancing books, marketing, and things like that, right? All of those aspects. And till today, I would intentionally put myself in positions where I would continue to learn and relearn, whether is it by surrounding myself with team members and people who are smarter than me, or constantly, you know, reading up as much as I can, because as we all know, you know, times have changed so quickly, right? What worked yesterday wouldn't work tomorrow. So I think constantly, refreshing myself, my knowledge, and I think that has been, really key for me as well.
But I think that's kind of what I observe of you. She's very inquisitive. Yeah.
Okay, number 4.
Yes.
The body achieves what the mind believes.
Yeah, I think I've also learned that our mind is a very powerful tool, right? And I've always believed that it's like a muscle. The more you work at it, the stronger you get. I mean, personally, in my journey, I've gotten stronger to just focus on, you know, what I need to do and drown out, you know, that chatter that is not serving me. And I think that's important, especially in this journey, as both of you know, sometimes it can get pretty lonely. You might not be able to always express everything or confide, you know, in someone, especially when it comes to the problems you face at work, the difficulties. So for me, being able to try my best to overcome that has been key.
You spoke about mental resilience. I'm quite curious, like, how do you build mental resilience?
So one day, I think a few years ago, I came back from work, and I was super defeated because I had a really bad day. Something terrible happened, and I felt like such a failure. I went home, I threw my bag aside, and I just slouched on the sofa. And he was like, "What's going on? What are you doing?" And I said, "Don't disturb me. I'm throwing myself a pity party." I know. And inside of me, I was just victimizing myself, replaying the incident and feeling sorry and sad. My husband, he immediately, you know, he took out his iPhone, then he just set a timer of like 7 minutes, and he said, "Okay, you can wallow all you want, but once the timer rings, you have to snap out of it." So I was like, okay, whatever. But anyways, 7 minutes passed, the timer rang, I snoozed a few times. I realized after snoozing for a while, I realized that, okay, I have to snap out of it. And so I physically got up, turned it off, and moved on. And that physical motion also helped me to, you know, mentally set aside everything and just move on with life. And I think this has helped me so much in my journey. Till today, I do it, you know, in different forms, right? Depending on how big the issue is. Sometimes I do it for, you know, 2 hours. Sometimes I do it for like 3 minutes, you know, taking a break and just like acknowledging all that negative thoughts, how I'm feeling. It's almost like throwing it a funeral, I say. And then not sweeping it under the carpet, because sometimes when I do it, I find that, oh my goodness, 1 week later it appears in a different form, which is scary. So for me, being able to acknowledge it, give it its time of day to mourn over it, feel sorry for myself, and then decide to snap out of it and move on has helped me build mental resilience, because I realized that, hey, I don't spend too much time wallowing, drowning in self-pity or sadness. Yeah.
And when you were talking, it reminded me of this other quote. It says something about movement creates momentum.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes you just need to get up.
Physical movement.
The movement of doing, of acting.
Yes, it
and
changes
the flow
everything.
Will come.
Yes.
It helps me too, yes.
I think for me, it's doing physical stuff. like cooking,
To take your mind off it and
reorganizing the
just-
home,
Oh.
moving the furniture.
Oh, I'm not that kind of like
Sure, yeah.
I don't, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Amazing.
kinda
Yeah,
what.
so we all manage in different
Mm.
homes. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most important is to know what works for us
Mm.
and try new things. Yeah.
Are you ready for the final question?
Yes. Okay, number 5.
So the last one, I'm not telling you that it's gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it.
I truly believe there's this quote that says nothing worthwhile is ever easy. And I think also in my journey, I've also learned that, and also, looking at other leaders like yourselves, also understanding that how you got to where you are, and how we got to where we are, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went through it. So
Still sweating,
still sweating, still bleeding, still crying. Yes, I agree, right?
still drying our tears.
Giving tissue to each other.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that, whatever, like what Arthur said earlier, people may see the glamorous side of it, but I think the other side, I think only we can really understand the pains, the heartaches, the tears that we've had. And it's not been easy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. I think at the end of the day, we look back and smile at how much we've grown, even though we've had a few battle scars here and there, but proud that, we've had the opportunity also to go through that and experience that.
It's like writing our own book, right?
Yeah,
How do you want it to end?
exactly. And what does a good ending look like for you, right? What is success at the end of the day? Success to some people is earning their first million and things like that. But I believe that success at the end of the day is really us living out our music to its fullest and really fulfilling our potential and purpose as to why we're created to be on this earth. So, yeah.
Cool. So thanks for that. I think with that, any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
No, I mean, I really thank you both for this very thoughtful, it's one of a kind interview. I've never had any interview like that. And surprisingly, I really enjoy it. And it's really left an impact on me, in terms of also, I think I walk away really wanting to think deeper about certain things that both of you have asked and mentioned. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for coming and for showing up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you, Yah-Leng. Thank you, Arthur. Thank
Thank you.